Okay, good morning. 19th of January 2024, trade review for the ES and NQ. Absolutely shitty performance today on my part, but let's go over the plan first. What I had planned for the day, how did it go, and what I did not do. So the market rallied late afternoon yesterday, complete V-shaped reversal, total nuts, broke a downtrend, and then off to the races it went. The overnight session quiet but at the top end of the previous day's range, and then during the start of the European session, it just went booming straight to the overnight previous all-time highs from where it sold off, and we opened right at my level of interest. So there was a 4-hour demand that formed here overnight, and that was my main level of interest. I had no interest in shorting this market today just because of the strength and where we are trading. Even though we are trading at all-time highs, the strength that the buyers or the bulls have shown over the recent few days or weeks, I just had no interest in shorting it today. The plan clearly stated. I was looking for longs as my first idea from 48.15 to 48.10. 48.15 turns out to be the low of the day. And I just sat there scared. I sat there paralyzed. There were ample opportunities to go long. I did not take any or either of them. Usually, I'm okay missing some trades. This was not one of those days. I was just totally paralyzed. I tried to look at too many things at the same time. So recently, I've been going through this thing where it's very hard for me to put on risk. And it was today when I realized that why it's happening. So basically, I'm looking at the wicks, I'm looking at the internals, I'm looking at all the major equities. Obviously, I'm looking at the ES and NQ, and then I'm looking at the footprint, and then 6 or 7 information sources to just make a decision on the ES. It's paralyzing for me. They might be important, but what I realized today, they will often not align. Like what I'm trying to find is kind of like a holy grail where all 6 or 7 things align, and it just doesn't happen very often. And that's where I'm getting scared. That's where I'm getting just complete paralysis, where I just cannot make a decision. In a place where I have to be absolutely ruthlessly decisive, it is an issue. It is a serious issue. And that was not happy with my performance today. I would have been much happier had I taken a trade and lost on it, but just because I did not even take a single trade and sat there just watching this thing rip and watching this thing unfold in a way how I planned, very frustrating. And yep, I missed the initial opportunity. That was the only real opportunity according to my plan. There were other opportunities along the way, but since I just cannot even follow my fucking plan, I have decided to not do anything else, because in the past what I've been doing, I miss the planned trades, and then I realize sometime later that was a beautiful opportunity. Why the fuck did I miss it? And then I start joining it later, and it usually doesn't turn out well. So even though there were clear opportunities today, I decided to at least keep clear of that part where I don't chase even at seemingly good prices. Also, I did not try to call any tops or fade this trend, which is a good thing, but then that is just a normal expected behavior. I do not take this as something that I did terribly well today. I'm not fucking stupid. And that's just a baseline. That's not something I did well today. that is what I should be doing every time, not step in front of time. Anyway, let's go over why I think what I did was bad and why we had such beautiful opportunities. So I was looking for long from 48.15 to 10, and then the second scenario never came into existence, doesn't matter. Also, I realized with all of this buying overnight, there was some chance of an inventory correction because the overnight inventory was so long and it's just trading where it's trading. There was a high probability outcome that there would be some sort of inventory correction. I never got an opportunity to join that, obviously, because we opened halfway through that correction process and it was not a trade, but it was context. So even though I realized that that is just inventory correction while making the plan, when it actually come to take the trade, again, I saw this as selling. And I was thinking, okay, let's see where it goes. And it did not go down, which was good. And I realized there was some absorption, like you can see coming into here. There was some selling, not much interest, but then people start, I guess, front running to break out the breakdown of overnight low. That's my guess, what's going on in people's mind, shorting at the lowest lows. And I saw that the market goes up, and I was like, okay, seems good. Maybe there's an opportunity, maybe the plan would come to fruition. But then what went wrong? I started looking at the internals. I started looking at the Russell. Russell at the time was just absolutely selling off. ES and NQ, they opened on gap ups. Russell opened towards the higher end of the previous day's range, but not on a gap. And then as soon as it opened, it just flushed down towards the bottom end of its previous day's range. And I was like, okay, maybe the ES won't go up sooner. And then I started looking at the internals. The internals went into negative territory. The equities, they were positive. Apple was going higher. Nvidia was just at all-time highs, day after day, rocketing higher. NQ was obviously going higher. Wix wasn't doing much. And then all of this information in my mind, and I completely lost track of what's happening in the instrument that I wanted to trade. I looked at so many different information sources. It was just an absolute nightmare for me to make a sound decision out of it. And then the price broke up. It came back, did a beautiful retest. There was definitely some absorption at the lows. I realized this as it was happening. So even though there's a silver lining in me seeing the market the way it's presenting, it's absolutely fucking worthless if I cannot put the risk on. And this is creating a mental block. When the plan works day after day, time after time, and I just do not follow it, or I do not have the balls to follow it. The most important thing I realized today is actually the instrument and what it is doing. Obviously, the other factors are important. They help form context, but then I cannot be blinded by what is actually happening in front of me. So there are some decent learnings today, very good ideas to take home, but nevertheless, this mistake is worse than other mistakes. Not all mistakes are created equal. This mistake was more equal than others. Absolutely terrible. I was pissed at myself, but then even though I was pissed at myself, I did not let those emotions control me in a way that I go on tilt and take stupid trades. That is a plus. That is okay. But what is not okay is me not fucking putting on risk when there's a valid opportunity. So so where could have I gone long? I could have gone long here because that's my system. A 10-hour change at my level of interest, right at 48.15. That's the low of the day. That was my plan. I could have gone long right after here, somewhere here. And this is a beautiful order flow candle that I like. So negative 1K delta changed to positive 1K. A a very good change. Also, most of it is at the bottom end of the range, so all negative 1,000 right towards the low. And this is just a beautiful where the point of control is at the bottom. The value area of that candle is at the bottom end, and the price just shoots up. It shows initiation. So I could have gone long there because it sits in my system, but I took a retest rather than taking the first try. So even though all of this I count this as the first touch of this new level, the new overnight demand. So everything is this first touch. In the shortest time period, I try to go for a high low if going long, or a retest around the same level, even if it's a lower low, it doesn't matter. And then the price shot up, stalled slowly, came back down. There's some selling, and this is a 45-minute period here, 40-minute period here. So there's some, even though it doesn't look in the rotations, there's some decent amount of time here. And what's more important is that there's not that much selling. So even though I saw this initial selling, and I knew this was inventory correction, there was some doubts in my mind, especially watching Riley, watching the internals, that okay, maybe there's something to it, and that's where the paralysis came from. But regardless, another beautiful opportunity to go long. Similar sort of candle, the order flow wise. Point of control at the bottom, completely shooting out of the value. I could have gone long here, anywhere here. Should have just gone right at the close of this candle, if not at the starting. Because if I cannot make 7 points of a 7-point risk, I can never fucking make 7 points of a 1-point risk. It just would not happen. If I cannot consistently make 1-to-1, I cannot consistently make 2-to-1. It's just stupid to think that I would do that. So this was another beautiful thing. Even though order flow wise I do not like it as much, but I realized that there's not that much selling coming through, and then if there's no interest in taking this thing within the prior test range after closing the gap, the only real place, given the context, given the strength, the only real place it could go is up. And that's what it did. Targets 48.35, 48.42, 48.35, 48. Didn't actually reach 48.42 in the first try. And then, but yeah, beautiful trade, absolutely stunning. Missed it. Terrible, scared money performance. But now that I'm talking about it, at least I realized what's wrong. I've locked this shit, and hopefully the only place I go from here is upwards and onwards, not making stupid fucking mistakes like this again. And I've decided that I will put risk on at my planned levels if there's a better opportunity, no matter what. If I take a stop out, fuck that. So be it. I have a much better learning or growth opportunities if I take a loss and then learn from them rather than just sitting and not fucking taking anything. Anyway, what I saw on the ES as it moved higher. So as it moved higher, it took out its non-access stacked highs. A market profile reference, even though this shaded area, I wasn't looking for any trades off of here. I was only looking to trade this area as shown in the plan. Now, what happened here, there's some decent bit of absorption. So we come up, we take out this high, we kind of put like a 5-minute excess, and then just look at that, 3,500, 2500, 6K delta, positive delta in a 20-minute, 15-minute period without any fall through. So under normal conditions where the market is not this strong, I would say this is a decent sign for a reversal. And that's what I did here, but only for it was a very weak reversal to say, but that was expected. Like, as a note here, like 5-minute excess, low high entry, not in plan, not my trade, absolutely fine. And also it's way too close to the overnight all-time highs, and then NQ is just roaring past to everything. Apple's just moving higher, Nvidia's just moving higher. That was my expectation, that even though there's this absorption, this overnight all-time high will get taken out sooner rather than later, and that's what happened. But under normal conditions, if this was at a planned level, this was my level of interest to take shots at, I think this would be a fantastic opportunity. At least after this, anywhere here, fantastic opportunity. But given the context, given the stand of the bulls, obviously not my trade, I did not take it. And now, why do I think this was a wonderful place to go long? Again, I'm not taking continuation place, but that's what I think, that it looked like a very good place to go long. Why did I think so? And why I'm not taking continuation place, because I simply just cannot take the good trades on my own level for continuation place. So even though there was bias getting absorbed up here, right at the top, I view this as profit taking. Like, people see that absorption, some selling coming in. Maybe there are some sellers who are saying, no, it can't go higher. And then it starts to roll somewhat lower. It starts to roll, there's selling. There's heaps of selling. Negative 4K, negative 1K, so negative 5K just within this area, within the 10-15 minutes period. And then what does the next 5 minutes do? Straight up. There's just no more selling. Look at the minimum deltas, 78, 416, 103. There's just no more selling. Nobody's initiating. There's just random people profit taking, maybe some laggards joining in, seeing all this selling, maybe it's selling off. People think, oh, there's a top in. Even though I realized the absorption and expected but anticipated some sort of move down, I had the basic understanding of going too deep, and that's what I did. And then you can see just massive absorption here at the lows. Somebody just showed up 2800 straight at the bottom, and this is why I love this place to go long, because this is a very opportunistic place for somebody good to go long at, not at the highs after it has pulled down 8 points. So somebody who was along here, very opportunistic place to go long. And then when you see this, it's a negative delta at the bottom end of the range, and then it's shooting up is good. But then it will only just squeeze out the shorts. But this shows initiation to me. This is definite initiation at the bottom end, and then you just shoot up. This is a beautiful, beautiful place if taking continuation place. To go long or to add to your position, definitely not stop out. Regardless, not my play, and not much happened after that. They were just absolutely roared past. Again, initiation, people buying at the lows. On a strong uptrend, buying at the lows, definite initiation. Like, people selling at the lows, they get squeezed out, but the squeeze cannot sustain if there's no new buying coming in. Price shoots up, and then just roared past. Hardly any red candle in this 2-3 hour period. Absolutely stunning. I missed all of it. I am not sad that I missed any of this shit. I am totally frustrated that I missed my plan. I just care about this bit, to be honest, where I missed my plan. This is all because I do not have any runs, I just play one lot. Does not matter to me. It can do whatever it wants to do after reaching my fucking targets. Absolutely pissed that I did not take this trade, but hopefully we learn from this and get better. Same story NQ, right at the level, right at the demand level. I was just focused on ES, so I'm not going to comment much on why I did not take NQ. Anyway, I wouldn't take ES and NQ at the same time, but I didn't even take ES. Same story. Very powerful, amazing strength from the bulls, maintaining gap ups 2 days in a row. Yet yesterday broke a 2 day kind of downtrend, day before yesterday, and then had a gap up. Absolute reversal late afternoon, just like yes. Another gap up today, formed a 4 hour demand overnight, couldn't even close the gap. One time framing up throughout the day. Absolutely stunning. Could have I joined here? Sure. Did I? No. Am I sad about that? No. Am I sad about ES? Yes. Another great thing on NQ, the 1K, negative 1K. I've seen this happening time and time again. I wasn't watching the NQ DOM at that point of time, which is okay. I was watching ES. Enough about ES. But I've noticed this time and time again. If there's, on a 5 minute basis on NQ, a delta more than 1K positive or negative is usually significant in identifying a pivot point. And then given this 1.4K negative, almost all of it at the bottom, or a lot of it at the bottom, if not all, right at the demand zone. This would have been an absolutely stunning price anywhere to take a long. It was trading at all-time highs. This was the only target that I could have had if I were to take a long. That was the another reason that I wasn't looking to go long, because there was no structure for me to lean on, and I have never traded all-time highs before. So yep, but regardless, very good place. 1K delta at the bottom end of the day's range at the low of the day. Usually not significant if it comes in the center of the range, not significant if it's a trend day up or down. Very significant most of the times, or a lot of the times, when it's at a extreme. And yeah, that's for today. Something to take away, something to learn. Cannot change my shitty performance, but definitely can improve it. We'll see how it goes next week. Thank you.